Hello. So I'm taking a break before I start inking, and I apologize in advance for my voice because it's still a little sore and hoarse from all the yelling that I've been doing lately, but I have a big-ass bottle of water, so hopefully that'll help me get through. Now I wanted to talk about starting a webcomic. Now you'll read a lot on forums or websites, or sometimes you'll see panel discussions from web cartoonists. And inevitably the question of how do you start always comes up. And people will talk about building a buffer, working on your craft, making jokes, figuring out formats, buying domain names, coming up with a proper name for your comic, an easily rememberable URL, that kind of stuff. And these are all excellent things that you need to know when doing a webcomic. But I want to go a little bit more dirty and gritty and down basic shit for you guys and talk about free things that you can do, or almost very low cost things that you can do to start a webcomic, because I feel like even if people aren't saying it, there's some really basic things that if you have very limited resources, if you have no extra cash to spend on stuff, if you don't have a day job that pays you well enough that you can afford to purchase server space on something, here are some very low cost or free things that you can do to start your own comic. So we'll start basic technical stuff like paper and pens and drawing stuff, and then we'll get into like image hosting. Hopefully this won't take too long. So yeah, you will need to draw your comic somehow. You don't need a fancy laptop or a Cintiq or a Wacom tablet or any of this fancy shit that you see a lot of the pros use. Sometimes all you need is like a ballpoint pen and a piece of scrap paper or computer paper that you can get from school, or a copy of your paper, and just draw your fucking comic. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you've got ideas that you want to get out, I mean, use the tools that you have available. So if you've got ballpoint pens available, if you've got pencils available, if you've got Sharpies available, whatever the hell it is, if you're drawing comics in your notebooks, use what you've got. That's perfectly legit. Now, if you don't have access to a scanner through your public library or school, a lot of times you can use a camera, like a straight-up camera. Like a lot of people, if you're viewing this, some of you are viewing this on a smartphone. Some of your cameras have higher pixel density than some of the scanners out there. So all you got to do is take a straight-on shot of your comic, and you've got a digital version that you can post on the web. Now, it's not going to look as good if it's not lit properly, so sometimes you might want to get a nice light on that, or do it out in the sun where you have a lot of natural light. But take a camera phone, or take a phone, or hell, take a still image off of a flip video camera. I mean, that's 720 by 1280. That's decent enough to post on the web. And you don't have to worry about scanning, you don't have to worry about color correction. Just get that shit in a digital form, camera phone, whatever. Email that to yourself. Posting it online, if you are serious about webcomics, eventually you are going to need a URL that you can write down easily and send to people. But if you just want to practice and get your stuff out there and get started without having to waste any time or any extra money on things, there are a lot of free sites out there that weren't around back when I was starting webcomics in 2001 or so, back when like Keenspace was still around, and that shit was terrible. There are a lot of great hosting sites out there that will host infinite images. If I was starting a comic today and I didn't have anything with me and I wanted it to be free, one of the first places I would go is Tumblr. I really like Tumblr's interface, and Tumblr makes it easy for people to share content quickly. So chances are, if your comic has enough legs on it, and if you tag it correctly, somebody's going to find it and reblog it or repost it on their Tumblr and like it and spread that shit virally. I've seen a lot of crazy, primitively drawn comics get a lot of traction on Tumblr. So Tumblr is an excellent place, a free place to host your comics easily. And the best part about Tumblr is it makes it easy for people to share. So Tumblr's an excellent option. Another idea that I came up with, and I don't know how practical this is, but maybe like a Twitter sharing thing like TwitPic or that frog thing or whatever. But let's say you want to really make your comic viral. Set up a Twitter feed, or set up a Twitter account just for your comic, and every time you do an update and you scan it in or you take a photo of it, post it on TwitPic. And so that account becomes just the list of comics in order, so that when people sign up they know they can follow it, and you can hook that into a Facebook page or something like that. Of course, there are the standard LiveJournal, Blogger, WordPress.com sites that you can set up. I think WordPress might have a limit on how many images, but you know, if you're getting started and you don't want to bother with any coding, those sites are perfect for you, because you just upload your comics, people can comment on it, they can share it, whatever. Another good option, well, depending on who you are, is DeviantArt. I've had a lot of random people look at my stuff on DeviantArt just because it's tagged properly. So it is possible to generate a decent audience on DeviantArt just by posting stuff. So if you know you have a comic that you want to get out there, DeviantArt is great, because a huge number of artists and a huge number of fans go through DeviantArt. So it's a well-trafficked site, and that might be a good way to gain a following. Another way to go about it is if you are a member of a forum or an active member of a forum, maybe you can start a thread and just post your comics there. And that's another free way, depending on how the forum is run. That's another great free way to just post some stuff up there. So these are just a few ideas of how to, like, bare bones, no resources, just a Bic and copying paper like this crap here, how you can start a webcomic. And there's really nothing holding you back. Like, if you've got an idea and if you have something to say, there is absolutely nothing holding you back. And that is more true today than it has been ever before. Cameras are getting better. Sites for hosting images are getting more viral and more social. You got Tumblr out there. You can blog and you can post your photos. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So hopefully I've given you some ideas on how to go about setting up your comic for free. And I expect to see some free fucking comics out there, because you just can do it. You know, there's nothing holding you back. So thank you for listening to me rant and rave for a little bit. I'm going to drink some more water and start inking, and I'll see you next week. So if you've got any further ideas on how to spread your comic virally for free, or starting a comic for free, hook up a video comment or comment on this video. Hit me up on Twitter, Tumblr, whatever, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye.